But my favorite book of the year was the Solero Protocol by Simon Nissen. He's like, he does the Jax Hardman. He does the Jax Hardman series. A bit like, kind of like your Jack Reacher, Born Identity kind of thriller things. So I'm going to read you all an extract. I've got the book here. Jax, not Jax. So the Solero Protocol by Simon Nomis. It's a little extract I've got for you all to hear. There we go. Settle in, everyone. Settle in. Jax Hardman stared at the rain-smattered window. He watched the sky liquid trickle down, creating, in his opinion, momentary pieces of art. Occasionally, 2 drops would make their journeys down the glass simultaneously, and he would choose one to support in the race which he imagined they were having. He lost every time. Sarah would have loved this, he thought, pressing one hand on his left outer thigh, bit on the side of the knee part. Jax remembered his first lesson of his very first day at the academy. Cargo shorts. Always wear cargo shorts. When you're out in the field fighting terrorists, saving presidents' daughters, you will undoubtedly amass what can only be described as a shit ton of cargo. This was the voice of Major Willis Haberdasher, the major who portrayed Jax in the very first book of the series, now available in paperback. The voice of a man who had given and taken away so much from Jax, a voice that sounded exactly like Martin Clunes, which was really weird, and even weird was the fact that no one ever mentioned it. Jax felt his left cargo pocket and fingered everything he had amassed over the quite frankly horseshit 24 hours. Pool balls, lottery tickets, six Swiss Army knives, and now, divided between both the left and the right pocket, the ashes of Sarah. Why would anyone want to kill his wife? She wasn't part of Jax's world. Jax's world of pain, Jax's world of gunsmoke, Jax's world of death. Jax caught his reflection amongst the droplets of cloud spunk. He thought to himself, I am a planet of hurt, but like a really big planet, like Jupiter, because my gravity pulls everything in or something like that. I don't know science. I'm not a fucking nerd. Then suddenly, in that very mournful reflection, he caught sight of a figure, but it was too late. Before Jax had the chance to turn and face the figure, they had grabbed the top of the back of his pants and pulled him up really, really high. The pain was burning. Jax's nerves became the ashes within the pocket of his body. He needed to escape this hold, but if he pulled too hard, the pants would tear, and that would be really embarrassing. He couldn't let this be the end. He couldn't let the message of Sarah's death go unanswered. He reached for this cunt's arm and took it in both hands and began to twist it in opposing directions. His assailant's flesh now going on 2 different journeys, both with the same destination. Pain. The assailant grunted in agony, releasing the vice-like grip on Jax's Under Armour boxer briefs, pushing Jax away from him to free his arm. This was Jax's first chance to see this goon's full frame and call upon his training to make an assessment of his opponent. 6 foot, mid-30s, clothing suggests professional killer, i.e. his name badge that says Chris Stevens, assassin. Chris spat and began removing his jacket, tie, shirt, cravat, and Jax did the same, meanwhile continuing his assessment. Ears? Well, scars. Well versed in combat. Libra started the American office. Keep meaning to finish it, but thinks it just won't be the same without Carell. Jax's 7-pack was glistening with sweat. Who sent you? Did you kill my wife? My wife, responded the assassin in his best Borat voice, and the two of them laughed for 3 minutes. Then Mr. Stevens struck first, flicking Jax's ear, pain coursing through his pain pipes into the pain bit of his brain. Jax managed to place the fucker in a headlock, securing his thumb inside his fist as he was trained to do, and began to violently rub the fist across the top of his enemy's head. Ah, goddammit! Ah, no! Ah, you son of a bitch! Yelled Chris Stevens, who wriggled free from Jax. You're just as good as they said you'd be. It'll be an honor to kill you. He did another Borat impression to lighten the mood, then charged at Jax like a viral video Black Friday crowd, tackled him to the ground, and sat on his stomach, pinning Jax's arms down, leaving him helpless. The hitman proceeded to hit Jax's chest with individual fingers, pretending that Jax was a typewriter. But in reality, Jax is not a typewriter. He's a human guy. And Stevens would punctuate each line of the poetry of torture he was composing on Jax's torso with a slap to the face, signifying a new line was being begun. Jax was overcome with a coldness. He thought it was the end for him. Is this how the countless people he had killed felt? Was it all worthless? Sarah made it worth it. The thought of Sarah provided some warmth within this cold feeling. He pictured her under the white bedsheets, giggling in slow motion, with some rays of thick sunlight framing her. Jax had a sudden surge of strength, and in brackets, anasemi, and managed to free one arm from Mr. Stevens' legs, reached into his cargo shorts, and claimed a fistful of ashes, a fistful of Sarah, and threw them into the baddie's eyes. Chris Stevens recoiled. He had dead wife in his eyes, and it wasn't ideal. Jax reached into his right cargo pocket, pulled out an umbrella, and shoved it so far up Chris Stevens' ass, the pointy bit came out of his eyes, and he dropped to the floor, presumably dead. Jax really wanted to open the umbrella, but he knew it would be bad luck to open an umbrella inside a person. Plus, it was too far up him to reach the mechanism. Jax returned to the window. It was raining still. He lifted the assassin above him with the umbrella handle and headed back to the streets of Leamington Spa with more questions than answers. So yeah, that was my favourite book this year.